Shabbat Shalom, y'all. I hope you're doing fantastic. Now, if you're brand new, listen, I'm not Jewish, I'm not churchy, I'm not religious, but my heritage comes from the Hebraic heritage, and I do come from the house of Jacob, and this stuff is found within the tarot, and a lot of people know that, a lot of people don't. So if you didn't know that, it's the truth. And so anyway, on Shabbat, because I do keep covenant with Jehovah Elohim, who is maker of heaven and earth, and we are told to keep the covenant, I get on here on Shabbat, and I didn't last Shabbat, but I get on and share something from the divine. And so the other day, Jehovah had taken me through the High Arcana and was showing me where it could be found in Psalms 119. And we're fixing to go into the ninth house, and that's about perception here. And it's about the truth, and it's about protection and the husband, and fortunes found there, and the real true riches people really come within. But I was spending some time with Jehovah this morning and just listening to him. And I went over to pick up my deck that he had me sit down yesterday and write out the High Arcana within the Psalms 119 for each one of those letters. And shuffled them, and it amazed me what he brought out. So I'm going to share it for Shabbat today. So if you're returning, welcome back. And so if you are brand new, you kind of get a feel who I am. If you stayed, then great, welcome. If not, then this is where we'll depart. Happy birthday and happy anniversary to anyone who is also celebrating today. If you don't know what Shabbat is, it's the Sabbath, and it just, it's part of the Ten Commandments, and we're just told to rest. And so anyway, that's what it is if you didn't know. So as I begin to shovel, things are going to be shoveled away for some people. They don't get something straight here. Because there's a big judgment coming out. What came out was the Tet, which would be the Hermit energy. It's the ninth High Arcana, which we're going into the ninth house, so that vibration is found here. We know that is the Hermit is somebody who is an analyzer. They are somebody who can go within and they know the answer. Okay, there's truth there. It is the Tet in the Hebrew, which represents a judgment. The Tet represents the snake in the basket, and where somebody wants to try to catch you up and store you down in clay, and that goes back to death-like energies. The snake wants to chase, but the snake is under our feet, and there is a judgment coming to this because that vibration is here. So that came out, and then the 10th letter, which is the Yod, which is the Wheel of Fortune, which goes right back into the ninth house itself, came out. That's the arm, that's the deed, that's the work, that's the ability, that's authority, that's law. Like I said, that's the husband, that's protection, that's traveling, that's fortunes, everything that is right there with the ninth house. It came out because they hold that in the deck. So we have 19 here altogether, and that's the sun card, and the sun is going into the ninth house, and that's about perception. So here we're entering into that, and Jehovah brought it out, and there's a judgment here by his arm, and I'm going to read what Psalms 19 states about this house that we're going in and what we can expect for Jehovah to do on the things that have gotten dirty, and if people don't want to turn and take his hand and say, Yeshua, hold my hand, because the hand is here, people. It's here. It's up to you. Whether you're going to be a judge, have high discernment and get judgment from your higher mind of truth, or there's a judgment on you, and here comes the shovel, and you're out, I guess, because we really are in the judgment anyway. We're leaving the 8th house where the judgment, death, and resurrection energy was there. Okay? And let me just say that I did a reading yesterday, and the Wheel of Fortune came out with the Death card. Those two houses, the 8th and the 9th house together with the Death card and the Wheel of Fortune, that word in the Hebrew is yum, and it's a working water, and it represents terror. And people better fear the divine, because there and only there is where we find wisdom from the higher mind. It is there. And so got a lot of legal law type stuff going on right now, as always, because court is always in session with Jehovah. And the literal procession that we're going into, the age of Aquarius, is knowing this stuff, and it's time for people to come awake by this judgment. Get out of the filthiness and let the hand of the divine clean you up. So the Tet tells us in Psalms 119 from 65 to 72, in those verses, it says, Thou hast dealt well with thy servant, O Jehovah, according to thy word. Teach me good judgment and knowledge, for I have believed thy commandments. Before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now have I kept thy word. Thou art good and doest good. Teach me thy statutes. And remember, the ninth house is about teaching and learning and teaching at the same time. The proud has forged a lie against me, but I have kept thy precepts with my whole heart. Their heart is as fat as grease, but I delight in thy law. It is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes. The law of thy mouth, and that is where the law comes from hearing the word. Thy law, the law of thy mouth is better to me than thousands of gold and silver. The yod, the hand of the divine, the wheel of fortune, states for us in Psalms 119 from verses 73 through 80, that thy hands have made me and fashioned me. Give me understanding that I may learn thy commandments. They that fear thee will be glad when they see me, because I have hoped in thy word. I know, Jehovah, that thy judgments, and it's right up against this right here, thy judgments are right, and that thou in faithfulness has afflicted me. Let, I pray thee, thy merciful kindness be for my comfort according to thy word for thy servant. Let thy tender mercies come unto me, and those that have known thy testimonies, let my heart be sound in thy statutes, that I be not ashamed. And so this is the arm, this is the deed, this is the work, the ability, and the authority that we are going into. And I did a reading yesterday, and we had the literal Wheel of Fortune card come out in the tarot. And when I was clarifying by the High Arcana, by the word of these cards, we had the yod literally came out again. So both arms were on that side, and it jumped over on somebody who had lied. And their prayer was, because they had the Tav, which would have went to the full card for me in the deck, and they were stating how they needed help, and Jehovah's hand literally jumped over on that side to help them. So if you want truth, he wants to pull you out of the dirty, filthy mess and get out of the stupid chasing and trying to catch people up in a net, because you surely will fall in your own disgrace, people, because his word's not going to return void. He's in the business of giving hope, and he don't get any he doesn't get any delight in seeing the wicked have to go down to the lower parts of the earth. He wants to give everyone a chance to come awake and give you and I worth. And so this is the ShBt reading for today. I'll be back as Jehovah leads me to do a tarot read if he has me do it today. Otherwise, I bless you. Stay in peace. Rest your mind and keep it up on him. And he will literally keep you in perfect peace and give you a way where there seems to be no way. Until next time, shalom.